everybody, welcome back. How are you today? So, finished up work and decided to head out to the park. Needed some outside time to get my vitamin D while the sun is still out. But while I'm here, I wanted to talk a little bit about these masks. So, there have been a lot of mask changes lately. Not just around here in New York, but across the country. There have been a lot of changes with mask mandates, and I just figure we'll talk a little bit about them because you'll see me in my videos sometimes with my mask on, sometimes with it off, and sometimes in the same video, like outside. So it's like, hey Mercury, what's up? What are you doing? Is it on? Is it off? What's going on? And the reality is, I don't know. I want to follow the science. So let me be very clear. I want to follow the science. But I've also spent the past year training my brain that not wearing a mask or being around people without a mask is the same as being next to a wild tiger. Right? Like I would have a reaction. Like I'd go into a store and there'd be somebody without a mask and I'd be like, "There's a tiger!" Like, but that legitimately that was my reaction. I felt it was like a safety thing, right? I felt like not having a mask equated to something very dangerous. And now I'm fully vaccinated. I did do a video about my experience getting the vaccine, and I'll put a link to that in case you want to see it. But it's now retraining my brain to what a post-COVID world looks like and what that means and what I'm okay with. And I'm still learning. I'm still adjusting and trying to navigate that. And I don't know, right? It took a year of sort of like this sheltering in place kind of mentality to get where I am now. And now it's like, oh, okay, it's fine, no masks. Because in New York, we, in the past week, hit 70% of adults have had at least their first dose of the vaccine. And the governor had said when we hit that threshold, like that was the benchmark, and the mask mandates and a lot of the restrictions were going to go away. Like dining is back to full capacity. Masks are required at the request of the store owner. So if there's a store that has a rule about wearing a mask, you still have to wear it. But they're not required anywhere outdoors. They are required on public transportation, hospitals, some other settings. There are still some requirements. So it's not like totally gone. But for the most part, sort of like at the discretion of shop owners, but other than that, it's like optional. And I'm trying to understand what I'm comfortable with. And I think at this point, outdoors, I'm okay without a mask. Especially if there's distance between people and, I'm able to, I'm not going to be very close to somebody for an extended period of time. I think if I'm going to be indoors at this point, I think I'm still going to wear my mask. I think I'm not quite there yet. Although I have dined indoors, so I'm trying to reconcile that, right? Like I'm okay to go dine indoors and take my mask off while I'm eating, so why aren't I okay to not wear my mask in other situations as well? So that's like what I'm sort of like trying to reconcile in my brain these days. Like what am I comfortable with? What am I gonna do? And I don't know. And it's okay that I don't know, because I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna do it at my pace and whatever that means. And I think that's okay for everybody, right? Like if you're vaccinated and you're comfortable going without your mask, the science says that's okay. Let's follow the science. Let's do it. But if you're not comfortable doing it, you don't have to. And that's okay too. And I think it's great that we're at this point where we have a choice and that we can have a safe conversation about it. It's amazing how the world is like opening back up. It's like someone turned the light switch on and we're all coming out to play again. It's wonderful and I'm excited for it. But it's still a little, I still have ambivalence. I still have a little trepidation, we'll call it. Um, but I guess, with time, I'll adapt. I adapted to come in, I adapted to wear the mask. I'll adapt to go the other way. I'll adapt to be able to take it off again. And that's all we can do. So, yeah, that's my stance on the current state of mask wearing. So, you might see me in places wearing a mask where it's not quote unquote required. You might see me in situations where, like, I was just eating and I was okay with it, and now I'm wearing it again. What's going on? I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out, and I'll get there. But for now, this is where I am. So I just wanted to have a little conversation about that, you know, and I'm curious what other people's viewpoints on this are. Like, what are your feelings about the mask mandates being lifted and capacity limits being lifted? How are you going to be managing this? If you're fully vaccinated, what are you comfortable with? What are your thoughts on this? I know it's very personal and everyone has their own stance, but I'm curious. I'm curious to hear what other people are thinking and feeling about this. So that's it for today. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to enjoy the park for a little bit longer. Maybe read my book a little bit, go make some dinner, and chill out for the rest of the night. So thank you everyone for hanging out with me for a little bit. And until next time, stay inspired by everybody. Take care.